Hey guys, this is Steve. Well, I'm doing this little video to give everybody a little bit of an update. As most of you know, yesterday was a very interesting day, to say the least. Caven and I were out fixing some fence, and we took and using a T-post pounder. And if you're familiar with one of those, which I'll show you the picture, but if you're familiar with one of those, they're pretty heavy. And the T-posts we're putting in are a little bit shorter than the normal ones that we do. And I'm a bit of a tall guy. And as I'm lifting this thing up to, really just put my weight and force into it, because we're, knocking these T-posts into the ground, I raised it up a little bit too high and I hit it right on the top of the T-post, and it hit and then came down toward me. Of course, I was, really throwing my weight down, and when it did that, the T-post pounder hit me right on top of the head. I'll show you some better photos, but let me turn this around where you can see kind of what I'm talking about. So this pounder, as you can see, itself is 18.5 pounds. And this lovely little spot right here is what hit my head. Kind of do a little explanation as to, there's the new calves. So it goes over that, it slides down, you raise it up and hit it down, and it knocks the T-post into the ground. Well, as I had all the force, I came up too high, and it hit right there, and of course it didn't go down. And with my force pulling down on it, it just decided to come down. 18.5 pounds, and the force of me pulling it down. And it hit the top of my head really hard. I felt a whoosh go through my body, and for a half of a split second, which I know it was God, but that little bit of time, I felt almost a lights out type situation. And Caven was right here next to me, and he said that I remember kind of leaning forward, but he said that I went down, not to my knees, but I went down, and I guess I stuck my hand out and I grabbed hold to him to catch myself. And I immediately, as I'm leaning forward, I start feeling just this liquid just flowing down my face. And as I'm looking down, just fast droplets off of my nose. And Caven, bless his heart, he starts freaking out because it was blood that was just gushing from my head. And I put my hand on top of my head to try to control the bleeding. And I tell him, head up to the house, let's get some towels to help stop the bleeding. And I walk up to the house, and the whole time I'm praying. And so I get to the house, sit on the edge of the toilet, and just kind of to start getting everything cleaned up. And I started feeling kind of like really nauseated, sick to my stomach, almost gonna like throw up like. But I mean, immediately from sitting down at that in that time, that period, a friend of ours actually called just to talk to me about something, and it was just a miracle that he called when he did, because that had just happened. So he came over to the house, dropped what he was doing, and came over to the house and actually ended up taking me to the ER. They didn't do any stitches. They didn't do any staples. They actually used, I guess, a medical grade of super glue on there and sealed it up. Due to my health issues, they did a CT scan, and they did see the bruising on top of my head, but there was no other issues with the skull or issues with my brain. So it was a huge praise God to that. So I was on a 24-hour watch, so to speak. Like when I'd go to sleep, Casey, she's actually in Missouri right now, and we're here in Arizona. So every couple hours last night, she was having to call me to wake me up to make sure everything was good and good with me, because with any kind of a head injury, you never know what could pop up in a short period of time thereafter. So, but today I'm sore. It's got its times where it really bothers me, and I'm really exhausted today, really tired. So, but for the most part, it could have been way worse. I mean, drastically worse. But that's pretty much it. I just kind of want to do this little video to explain to people that may not know what a T-post driver is, or even a T-post or fencing material, stuff like that, and kind of helps to sometimes see the product that somebody's talking about, rather than using your own imagination and being completely wrong. So for the most part, I got hit on the head with an 18-pound sledgehammer, plus whatever force I was pushing. So, but I'm doing great, and I'm still alive, thankfully. So, but anyway, that's it. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.